All right, folks, you are with us at Yankees Unloaded. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. He is Gary Sheffield Jr. The Yankees fell short today, unfortunately, in the bottom of the ninth. Another walk-off one from Bednar given up. We're going to get into it. Obviously, shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's episode. But, Gary, there's a lot of turmoil going on with the Yankees, and it feels like the Yankees are that team. Like, you can't get swept, or everyone is going to talk about it. And so, right now, I just kind of want to, tease what our show is going to be. I know people are kind of like, whoa, that's an interesting title from Yankees Unloaded. You guys aren't typically the doomer channel. Well, the title isn't necessarily how we feel. It's just to kind of be thought-provoking. And we're going to, touch on it. Are the Yankees actually a fraud after all? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Rodon. We'll talk about Spencer Jones getting his first hit of his MLB career, hopefully his first of many. And we'll talk about some other stuff. Before we do, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and follow us on all social media at Yankees Unloaded. All right. Gary, looking at this, first off, the title, are the Yankees actually a fraud after all? They're not. They're not. I see a lot of people freaking out about this loss. It's an annoying loss. You don't want to lose a game 4-3. You don't want to lose a game on the final, essentially, play of the game. But in no way, shape, or form am I worried about this team. I've maintained this. It's frustrating to lose, but this team has won most of their games. The last 17 games, they've won 14 of them or what have you. I'm not worried about it. What I will say is that I think these type of games can show you what you're missing. And the Yankees are clearly missing one, production from their catcher. I think today, JC Escarra walked. That was nice. But aside from that, catcher's really kind of a no-go. Those two are essentially platoons that the Yankees don't even know are platoons. We talked about it yesterday. We did the research on it. JC Escarra against left-handed pitching. He's Ted Williams. Anybody else, he is the worst hitter you've ever seen. Austin Wells isn't that much better, going up against right-handed pitching, but he's clearly better going against right-handed pitching. They still love to use him against lefties. That's kind of where we're at right now is that, you had Ryan McMahon as the sixth hitter. He's still not a great hitter. I know he got, maybe a little hot and people forgot about that, but he's not a great hitter. Jazz Chisholm, he's struggling. Here's the thing. The Yankees have their issues. So does every team in the league. Every team in the league has some issues. I would say the Yankees have some fine tuning to do with that lineup, and they'll figure it out. And I would say the bullpen is an issue because, and we've talked about this, it's not the worst bullpen in the league, but when you're talking about winning these type of games, you're going to need a good bullpen. You and I both went over it. The Brewers were a team coming into this series that they're getting hot at the right time. And we were, saying how run differential, which some want to just completely, just ignore, run differential would have you believe that the Brewers are one of the best teams in baseball. And this series really showed that to me. So, tough test. They lost. And, they don't have a great record against, above 500 teams. But there's also only 11 500 teams, above 500 teams other than the Yankees. So I think it is a really small sample size. And I'll just say this to end kind of my spiel here. Gary, I hate regurgitated narratives. I hate them. I might even be the one that starts them when it comes to the Rams, right? People will literally just say, what I say, and then all of a sudden I see a message boards and what have you, and it makes me feel a little good, but also I'm like, oh no, I'm contributing my least favorite thing in sports talk, which is regurgitated narratives. The Yankees have the most regurgitated narrative right now, and that is they can't beat teams above 500. And to paraphrase that, because people don't love saying that entire thing, they'll just say, the Yankees don't beat good teams. I am so tired of hearing that. I don't even care if it's true to this point. It's too early in my opinion, and I'm just tired of hearing it. So, I'll just send it over to you, but that's what I keep hearing. That's what I keep seeing, and I'm just honestly sick of it. I don't want to just completely disrespect what they've done. This was a tough series, but it's not like they just got absolutely trounced in every single game. They were in 2 of them. They probably should have won 2 out of 3, and they end up losing 2 out of 3. And that's what happens when you go up against a really good team and you have maybe some issues in your bullpen and maybe some, outings that weren't so great. And we'll talk about it. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I think a couple things really happened in this series that I couldn't have seen coming. Ben Rice was useless in this series. He wasn't helpful. Now, mind you, for some context here, Ben Rice went down with an injury. Obviously, he missed almost a week. They told us it was going to be day to day, and he ends up missing an entire series. We go into the following week, and to the point where there were people like, hey, man, this must be bad. Like, what's going on? They haven't been transparent with us over the years. Is Ben Rice is he really hurt? And we end up seeing him. I made the prediction we would see him Friday to start the Milwaukee series. It's exactly the day. I mean, it was a lucky guess, right? So once that happened and you put him back in the lineup, you have to keep in mind, this player is going at the top of the lineup. Cody Bellinger's been red hot. Aaron Judge he's gotten hotter, but he's still not at that level that we expect him to be at, say, 2 months from now. So having said all those things, the Yankees really don't have consistent offense at this stage. And when you run into a team like Milwaukee, all it really set up was a 1-run game on the road against a good baseball team who really hasn't been able to get it done in October. But guess what month it isn't, Jake?
October.
It's not October. So when you run into Milwaukee, it's going to be a tough series. Now, I want to say something for those of you who think like, hey, the Yankees aren't beating good teams. A lot of that is a carryover event from last year. And Jake, you don't like to do it, but I think it's human when people do it. You look at last year and you say, well, the Yankees fared pretty well against most of Major League Baseball. But the one team they couldn't beat was the team we talked about the entire season. That was the Toronto Blue Jays. And then you go back into the distant past, same exact story about the Houston Astros. The years that they were going and winning the World Series, we were unable to beat that team, whether it was on the road or it was at Yankee Stadium. We just couldn't get the job done. And the takeaway is that the Yankees have to send a message one way or another during the regular season against teams they expect to see in October. Now, that event doesn't happen May 10th, because I can tell you right now, if our audience was like, yeah, the Yankees went ahead and took care of Milwaukee, right? They took care of Toronto, or they took care of Baltimore at home at the stadium in a 4-game set. No one would sit here and be like, hey, we've seen what we needed to see. Can't wait for October because this year's different. Why? Because it would just be simply too soon. You can't make that takeaway. That's why yesterday, Jake, we went and talked in length about, and I asked you the simple question, when can we draw a conclusion about who this team can really be and who they can't? And you said the All-Star break, right? And that's a healthy amount of time in the season. We're going to get to see who's having an actual strong year of consistency and who's having a down year. We're just off to a hot start, right? And there's a lot of teams out there that are already in catch-up mode. We're just not in that mode. But I understand this was a disappointing series, and I think the takeaway is one thing. Like, this is the one negative. The Yankees bullpen isn't as bad as what people are covering it to be, but the one thing that they are horrendous at is keeping games close to keep their offense in a game. And this is what I mean by that. We just used our closer 2 days in a row in situations that were non-save situations. That is not how you win baseball games. It's just not. And the Yankees, to be fair, didn't have better options to really go to other than Bednar at the time. And that's not a good thing. Bednar's a good pitcher, but he's not at the level where we can just go throw him out there and he's the fireman who goes and puts out the fire. He's not that. He's that notch down, which is okay, but you have to keep in mind the talent in the room. I have no problem with Bednar. I really have no problem with Tim Hill, and there's some other names like Cruz situationally when you put them in the game. But the Yankees don't have answers at the end of close games in situations, Jake, that you're going to see in October. 3-3 game in the 11th. Do you have an arm you can trust to go out there and get you 4 or 5 outs? Right now, the answer is no. And I think the answer is really the only possible answer they could have is flexing someone out of the rotation and into their bullpen. But Jake, so far, May 10th, we haven't exercised that opportunity yet, and that's understandable, but the clock is ticking, I will say. So for right now, the Yankees do have a problem in their bullpen. It's not a good bullpen, but it's good enough to survive with leads. And based on the Yankees offense and how bad the AL is, they're going to have a lot of leads, especially at home. So they're going to win a lot of games. The adjustment's going to be, Jake, is that people are going to be upset if they're losing a lot of games. People are going to be upset if they win a lot of games, but they don't beat the teams we really want them to beat. We're only going to prove ourselves in October. So right now, we're just kind of dealing with this exhibition marathon, and it's very frustrating, but I'm just trying to be more realistic for what the baseball season is. Like, I watched Atlanta beat the brakes off of the Dodgers today. I also watched last night's game where Atlanta beat the brakes off of the Dodgers with the exact same 7-2 score. And of course, Dodgers fans wouldn't look at that event and say, man, we really just can't beat one of the best contenders in the league. Why? Because they understand that there's a time and a place to actually make these type of judgments. And we're doing that before the fact, right? As opposed to the Dodgers who just kind of run the course. So yeah, it is frustrating. The series, it was a close series the whole week, but the Yankees, frankly, just didn't get it done when it actually mattered. Just made bonehead plays, bringing guys out of the bullpen who frankly shouldn't have been pitching in their situations that they were. And we burnt 2 opportunities with our closer, and we had nothing to show for it. It's just not a proper use of talent, in my opinion.
No, and I think that's absolutely fair, and I think many would agree on that. Just for, comparison's sake here, the Yankees last year, when they went to the All-Star break, 96 games played. So that's the cutoff. That's plenty of games. If by 96 games that they just can't beat anybody that's worth their salt, I mean, fine. But
what
we
record
haven't gotten
do you
to
need
that
to
point.
see, by the way, against teams over 500? Because that's the real. We need to know, not just, can you beat good teams? Actually put something tangible to strive for. I want to know from our audience, each and every one of you. And yes, I don't want you to just listen and then just say nothing. Put in the live chat, what type of statistic are you willing to see from a team perspective against teams over 500 at the All-Star break? That's a healthy amount of time to watch a baseball season. What do you need to see? Do you need to see 500 baseball? Do you need to see a 600 clip, right? 600 clip is historically great against anyone you're playing. What is it that we need to see? And the reason I ask that question, Jake, is because I want to have something tangible for us to stack them up against. Because when we get there, I don't want to be like, yep, it turns out they can't beat anyone. And then there's going to be people saying, well, I've been telling you they couldn't beat good teams. All we're saying is to wait and see and give it time. I think that's fair.
Yeah, of course it is. It's absolutely fair. All right, so here's the deal, right? So the teams, just a refresher here, these are the teams above 500.
Yeah.
You have the Braves, the Rays, the Cubs, the Yankees, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Pirates, the Reds, the Athletics. That's it. Okay? The rest of the league is not above 500. Cleveland Guardians are 500. So, that said, Yankees coming up. They do not play a winning team until the Tampa Bay Rays, and that is at the stadium May 22nd through the 24th. Then they play the Athletics May 29th to the May 31st. Then Cleveland, who will likely be above 500 at that point because they're kind of just ruffling around 500, June 2nd to June 4th. Then Cleveland again, June 8th to June 10th in Cleveland. This is not accounting for playing Toronto, which I think should be considered almost an above 500 team based on what Toronto's done to the Yankees in the past. If they come out and they smack Toronto, that to me should be considered a good thing.
And when did you say that series was?
So they play Toronto pretty soon, May 19th through May 21st. And that's at the stadium. But if they go to, wherever they play now, I think it used to be the Rogers Center. They go there June 12th through the June 14th and they win 2 out of 3 or they sweep them. I'm going to feel really good about that. Like, I'm going to look at that as like a win. By the way, Cincinnati, who is clearly struggling as of late. They're still above 500. If they are still above 500 at that point, that still counts as part of the stat. Yankees play them at the stadium the 19th through the 21st. The Detroit Tigers, they are, let's see, I'm pretty sure they're above 500. Oh, no, they are not. I believe my prediction is this late in the year, talking about June 29th through July 1st, Detroit will be above 500. The run differential speaks to that. So there's a good chance the Yankees are going up against, let's look, one, are we not counting Toronto, right? Toronto's its own, thing, but Tampa, Athletics, Cleveland, that's 3. Cleveland, that's 4. Cincinnati, 5. Detroit, 6. Detroit, 7. And then where's Minnesota? No, they're not good, as we've talked about. Tampa, 8. So they're going up against 8, potentially 8 series of games where they are playing above 500 teams. So to me, if that's not enough for people, then I don't know what to tell them. That is a large sample size to have 8 series. And if you're like saying, okay, yeah, they're going to play, let's look. I can literally count the games. So you'd have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and then you got the Tampa series, which would be 4. So 25 games. 25 games, Gary. Right now they're sitting here. What they've played 41 games, so 25 games out of however many left. That's a large sample size. So this is why I'm just like, I'll let it be. There has to be a balance. You have to give this thing time. Now, when you start to see hitters that have had 200 at bats and they're struggling at the plate or whatever, that's different. You can't just be like, whoa, it's the first half of the year. Gary, I think, honestly, I don't think hitters get that. I think a whole team deserves a little bit more leeway. I think hitters themselves, like Jazz Chisholm, for instance, and he had a nice RBI today, but Jazz Chisholm is hitting 207, 288, 331, and a 619 OPS. Okay, that's the lowest OPS he has had since his rookie year with Miami when he only had 56 at-bats, right? He has had 145 at-bats so far, 40 games played. That's what he has. I honestly think that is still a decent amount of time to be like, yeah, Jazz isn't having a good year. Could it change? Absolutely. But it is okay now. We are past the threshold. 40 games. I understand it's 162. 40 games, though. To me, if guys are not hitting well, they're not playing well, I think that's fair. As a team collectively, I think you got to give it some time.
Here's the takeaway. I was reading while you were answering. I wanted to see what the live chat had to say. Based on what they're saying, 500 baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They essentially want to win every other game against what we all perceive as good teams. Now, I just have a hard time looking at May 10th standings and be like, oh, that's a good team. Like for example, how many people believe that Tampa, and by the way, Tampa's absolutely earned the right to be in the conversation at this point. But I guess my point here is it's May 10th. Are even majority of the teams that are at the top of the standings right now, do they just continue staying there to the end of the year? Not really. We've seen it time and time again. Jake, there are a lot of people who think Tampa is going to regress. A lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, right now they are a team that is way over 500. Very good team right now. There's no question about that. And the point that you just brought up from Ed W here on the screen, in 2024, if you remember, guys, the Yankees were beating teams above 500 that season. Now, here's the catch. We went on the road to Colorado and we
couldn't beat bad teams.
We were swept. And you know what everyone said? And fair, by the way, this is fair. They play to their competition. They get up and they don't have enough professionalism to show up against some of the bottom feeders in the AL Central. They're just not ready to play. That's a lack of leadership. That's a lack of preparation, right? That's a lack of maturity. And at the time, I agreed with it, right? Because I saw it for an extended period of time. There's no reason you should beat the brakes off of all these good baseball teams. You've got Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. It's like, This was Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth. Where's the consistency? This is a 100+ win team, but yet we're not because of what we're doing against Colorado? Really? What we're doing against the Marlins in 2024? Really? We can't get that done. And then now you trek over to 2026. And so far, we're sitting in early May. It's Mother's Day. And the Yankees, we've just now established who are the good teams and who are the bad teams based on what? 6 weeks of baseball? The Yankees aren't good based on 6 weeks of baseball. I believe that. Just the same way I believe that some of these teams we're beating up on who are below 500 right now also aren't bad teams. We're only going to know who's good and bad around the break. And that just so happens to be the time where teams are making decisions on when to make trades and who with. So, Jake, we're going to be hard on this team. There's no question, right? Ed W is going to be hard on this team, right? Bulls, New York Yankees fans, Scott Ross, Ninja Hot Dog, Kid Reyes, they're all going to be hard on this team because we care about the team. But we can't make judgments about the team as a whole and just draw a conclusion about them until we have enough data to draw one for 2026. But if, again, Jake, if you stretch this for some years and you want to just say, well, it's kind of a continuation on, then people probably have a case there. But you've really convinced me, Jake, that sometimes you need to hit the reset button when you go into the next year, because as much as it might be the same cast of players, players get older, players develop, some players get injured, and it's a whole different slate, right? Toronto they seemingly are not the same team right now. And yet, if we go play them in a couple weeks and beat the brakes off them, what's the story going to be? Is it going to be that we beat our foe from last year, or is it going to be the fact that Toronto's got to beat up George Springer and their rotation's beat up, right? The narrative is going to be different, and they also probably won't be above 500, Jake. So it's tough to draw these conclusions and really conclude that this team can't get it done against good baseball clubs when I don't even know who's a good baseball club, to be honest with you right now.
Yeah, it's one of the weaker MLB rosters I've ever seen. And rosters, I'm talking about all 30 teams. Like, just because they're all really close does not mean they're all really competitive.
No, not really, because even
right?
Michael Kay was like, what's the meaning of all these below 500 teams? And obviously Girardi said, well, it's probably because teams are just really beating each other up. And it's like, well, where are the teams above 500? Like, how do you manage?
Yeah.
All these teams, like Toronto is this bad right now. And
isn't that funny, by the way? This comes
after
it's
just bad baseball.
All of these owners were bitching, moaning, and complaining about not having like a floor or a ceiling, like a salary cap ceiling. It's like, well, this is what you guys do with no salary cap. Just want to point that out. This is what you guys do with no salary cap. It's pathetic. I mean, I see it all the time. I see it in our voicemails. I see it in the chat. The Yankees are pathetic. The Yankees are pathetic. No. The Mets, 15-25, are pathetic. The Angels, 16-25. Marty Moreno, they're pathetic, right?
Yep.
Colorado, 16-25. You're the minor league system for 7 different MLB teams that are currently, you are in the MLB. Pathetic. The Astros, 16-25. Pathetic. The Giants, 16-24. Pathetic. The Boston Red Sox, 17-23. Pathetic. All of these teams are pathetic. The Yankees are far from pathetic.
We're somewhere between solid and all-time great, and we're just not exactly sure where that is. It could be much closer to solid than we're willing to acknowledge, but it could be further up
Yankees
than we're willing to acknowledge.
I mean, you've watched March Madness. The Yankees remind me of that team that you're just kind of sitting there like, more often than not, the Yankees are one of the best teams in the league. But you have those games where it'd be like, oh, they should have won that. What the hell was that, right? And so that will be enough to get people not to pick them to go to the Final Four. Then when they go to the Final Four, everyone's like, how'd they go to the Final Four? It's like, it was right in your face. Because more often than not, this team is really, really good. This team has the best rotation in baseball. They have a bullpen that is struggling, but if you look up against the rest of the league, it's pretty average to even above average in some cases.
There aren't many bullpens that we go into series. There used to be where we go, oh yeah, this team.
Milwaukee has a good bullpen, and Ashby is filthy.
Yeah, Really weird role, by the way. They really
Bizarre.
didn't market him whatsoever. Like they're
No.
like, oh yeah, Ashby's gonna come out there. We're gonna bring in some pinch hitters. I'm like, I don't know. He's throwing 102 and he's lefty. See, it seems pretty good. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's been tough. But let's get to some of our super chats, guys, because I want to make sure you guys aren't waiting too long. Bulls, New York Yankees fan with the 5. Really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel. So the Yankees are bullies that are easily bullied. The offense is pathetic against the best teams in baseball. I actually have a point to make about this super, so this is awesome. It says in the reason for postseason knockouts. Now, here's one thing I did want to bring up. Has to be said. Bulls, New York Yankees fan brings up the super and says, we are easily bullied, yet we are the bully. Here's my takeaway on that. We're a power hitting team with great pitching. When we play bad teams, we beat the brakes off some of these teams. Beat the brakes off of them. Our style of play is tough to deal with when you're undermanned. When you're coming in there with not one of the best, your starting pitchers coming out there and it's like your 3 or your 4, the Yankees can make it look much worse than most of baseball can, out of style of play alone and their depth alone. Now, having said that, when he says they're easily bullied, here's my takeaway on that. We struggle offensively. I'm not even talking about our bullpen. I'm not even talking about our starting pitcher anymore. As an offense, this offense struggles, and we're talking for years now. Whenever we face some of the game's best pitching, we're having to figure out a way to adapt to them. They're not figuring out ways to adapt to us. And here's the example I'll give you. Last year, Jake, we said early on in the season, about 3 months in, Toronto's going to win the AL. Toronto is a problem. And here's why we said that. We strike out hitters at a monstrous clip. Rodon's out there trying to K guys. Max Fried's trying to go out there and K guys. Cam Schlittler comes into the postseason series. He's just a strikeout demon, right? What did we leave the series thinking? Did Cam Schlittler strike out a bunch of Toronto Blue Jays hitters? No, not at all, right? Did Max Fried do what he did the whole year? Was he striking guys out? Nope. How about Carlos Rodon? Was he the outlier, like the one outlier of all those strikeout arms? And I know some of them pitched to contact. No, not one Yankees starting pitcher had to be adjusted to from Toronto hitters. Matter of fact, we were figuring out how can we deal with all these contact first hitters. We were forced to try and adapt to their style of play, and they beat us at it. Makes sense. The Yankees are going to have to figure out a way, not May 10th, but by the time we get to August 10th, we're past the break, past the trade deadline, past the All-Star break. You have to be able to say, oh yeah, the Yankees, when they go head to head, you're strong versus my strong, they're forced to come to our side of the yard. And really, we're going to have to figure out a way to better impose our will offensively on some of these teams that really can pitch. It's not an easy task. The World Series winner makes a way to do that. They find ways to make you adapt to them before you have to, they have to adapt to you. So yeah, I absolutely love this super chat. Jake, what's your perspective right now on this whole thing about the Yankees are easily bullied? Because he's obviously talking about this Milwaukee series. We ran into a good baseball team, and it feels like a bully job because we went on the road and lost a bunch of close games. The series was well played. We just made too many mistakes at the end of games, and it just flat out lost us probably 1 or 2 of the 3 games. Do you feel like we were bullied in this series, or do you feel like this could have gone any one way anyway, so there's not really a takeaway?
Yeah, I the latter to me. I think the Mizorowski, experience was just straight one-man army bullying, if you will.
He killed us.
I didn't see the rest because it's not like Milwaukee hit really well in this series. There was timely hitting, but you go back to that second game and it's like a lot of just shooting themselves in the foot led to that. You know what I mean? The Hill issue, the issue between Caballero and Jazz. But also to add to this, I don't think the offense is pathetic against the best teams. I think it's the way they're taught where it's more magnified. I saw a team today. They didn't hit better than the Yankees, but timely hitting. I feel like when I watch the Blue Jays last year, when I watch the Brewers, you don't get the whole, like Jazz Chisholm 0-2, okay? Shorten your swing. Why are you swinging out of your shoes for strike 3? And I see that way too often. And it's like I see that from Spencer Jones, but Jones also just put together a decent at bat that I can feel okay with. He's also in his, 7th at bat of his career. These are like, this context is needed. Having it from Jazz Chisholm, having it from Austin Wells, these guys don't shorten up their swing. And then I lock in today and I watched one of the best. It's so funny because it's ugly, right? But it's one of the best hits of the entire season. And it's the Cody Bellinger. I'm going to go, I'm literally just lunging, but I'm doing it in a way because I know I'm so good at getting bat to ball. I'm going to serve this into center field, and it's going to have maybe 50 mile an hour of exit velo, and that's going to dunk for a base hit. And I love that because that's somebody that understands. He has actual bat to ball skills, and he's changing his swing to match what the count is. I think there's too many guys on this roster that just swing like they would 0-0 on 3-2 or 0-2. And it bothers the absolute shit out of me.
Would you say that Milwaukee's a better contact hitting team than the Yankees?
I mean, I think that they have some players, like, for instance, it's funny, Judge actually brought this up. He wishes they had Bryce Terang. So does Gary and I both. We both just raved about him in the World Baseball Classic. Bryce Terang is somebody that I feel like has that. Like, it's that hit tool that you look at. It's the reason he has a 422 on base percentage. The reason why they won the game today. Terang has that. I think William Contreras has that. I think Chorio definitely has that. I think Renjifo's really struggling, but I think he also has that. Overall, though, the Yankees do have your Caballero. They do have, Bellinger, Ben Rice. I don't feel like this series is indicative of what Ben Rice is. I think Ben Rice has become more of a contact hitter than ever. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, I would probably say, Milwaukee probably has a little bit more contact oriented.
So you can probably make the assessment and just the guess, because I see Jason Dominguez in the live chat, still trying to do my absolute best just to get a temperature check on how people are feeling. And when you see names like Jason Dominguez, I think a lot of people, especially in Yankees world, we get caught up in, well, he's a better player than this guy, but we never really consider that takeaway of like, he's better than him is over 162. But what we're trying to assess right now is, do we beat the good teams? Because those are the teams we're going to see in October. When we get to October baseball, guess what type of offense wins? Contact. Power is important. You still have to hit home runs. No questions asked. Have to hit home runs. But you can't hit homers unless you make contact. And Jake, if we started a series, and I know this would never happen, but it's just an exercise, where every single at-bat starts 0-2. Now go from there. You would imagine Toronto last year would have done a much better job of adjusting to 2-strike pitching than we would. I think that's an obvious assessment. The Dodgers would have, clearly, right? This Milwaukee team probably also would have. Cleveland probably would have. And you have to be able to play both styles. And I will give Brian Cashman some credit here, because bringing in guys like Caballero, re-signing a player like Rosario, re-signing Cody Bellinger, lefty-lefty splits, developing Ben Rice into more of a contact bat, it leaves room for pure power bats like Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton of the world. And you can go out there and actually have different ways to beat teams. And even more importantly, we can win these 3-3, 2-2 games when everyone's freaking out about who's going to pitch next and how are we going to get a 2-out rally going. Power hitters just don't do it in that scenario, man. They don't get it done. And that's why the point about the swings that you said, that you can't tell what the count is for Jazz Chisholm, and not even just Jazz, some of the other players, Austin Wells, as an example, you should be able to. For all contenders, I should be able to watch the game and clearly see what you're trying to do. And right now, the Yankees offense has been much better than what people are covering them to have been. But we need to also pay attention to what it looks like in some of those postseason style at bats and games and series. Are they able to make those adjustments? And we'll know that by the break. If they don't, I think we have our preview of what's going to happen in October.
Yeah, see this, I mean, I don't have confirmation that this is 100% fact.
I hope this isn't true.
If this is true, it makes a lot of sense. I'm watching Jazz today, 0-2. Man, just get the bat on the ball. Or just work it back. Like, if he worked it back to 2-2 and then takes like a pitch that like barely hits the strike zone and he's out looking, or he puts it together a nice swing and just misses, fine. But it's like, it's this, he swings and like falls over, and I'm like, on 0-2 he's doing that. So it's like, it's not just Jazz, right?
No, it's
Ryan
not.
McMahon swings like he's a power hitter. I don't get it because he's not. That bugs the shit out of me. And days like today, they win this game if Jason Dominguez is in the lineup, and they win this game if Ahmed Rosario is in the lineup. And so I understand, you have Ryan McMahon coming in this game. He has a 400 batting average in the month of May, over 1,000 OPS. But if Jazz Chisholm's struggling like this, honestly, I'm fine. Like, if you want to make the argument Ryan McMahon's too hot right now to bench, totally fine. Rosario should have been at second today. I feel very confident in saying that.
You said that yesterday, and you've stayed pretty consistent on it.
It's one of those things where if we're not getting to the magic number 5, and we have Carlos Rodon on the mound today, which we'll get to, I wasn't super confident in Rodon against this lineup, and I know you were like, I have a bad feeling about this. And he ends up walking 5 batters today. It was not a great outing. We're going to talk about it, of course. Don't get me wrong. But that, I really wanted to touch on that because I really kind of, it's starting to hit me lately that, I'm much higher on this team than most people are.
You are.
But the lineup, the DNA itself, like I watch a Caballero, I watch Bellinger's hit today, and it occurs to me like, not even really Aaron Judge is making those adjustments on his swing. He kind of just has one way about himself, and that's the same way with like everybody in this lineup. I don't see enough, like Derek Jeter would shorten his swing 0-2, stuff like that. A-Rod would make adjustments. Player, no doubt.
Right. And there's different styles to play, and the Yankees seem to have definitely more so the style that works, right? Like having Caballero, Rosario available, Paul Goldschmidt available, right? You see some ugly swings that work with those players. But then it seems like, and Ben Rice is he's doing a much better job. I know you didn't see it in this series. He's kind of getting reacclimated.
I throw this series away. It has nothing to do with Ben Rice. He's coming back from the injury. Yeah.
He'll get it going again, and his batting average is over 300 still after everything he did in this series for a reason. That's how good he was, and I expect him to get back to that point. But yeah, to the point that you're making, Aaron Judge also, he doesn't really have that type of, I'm going to spoil pitches and maybe spoil a ball the other way and get on base. It's not really the style of player he is, and that's okay as a standalone in your lineup. But when you go up and down the lineup, you need to have guys who can take that ugly at bat from 0-2, maybe go 1-2, 2-2, and slap a ball the other way and keep it moving. It's not really our style. And he says, by the way, I got the Jazz stat on ESPN splits. Have we ever used that?
Yeah, I've used it before. I used it the other day, so just wanted to put that up there because it does confirm that that's the case. So that's good that we did that. Last thing I also wanted to touch before we get back to Supers.
Yeah,
remember. You loved when I brought this up. Last year's Yankees led the league in, I believe they led the league in runs, and if not, they led the league in home runs. But the point being, it was runs. The reason why this team last year led the league in runs is because they would do this in big, like they would just have these games where they scored 20 runs, right?
Yep.
Trent Grisham is the 2025 New York Yankees offense. He has games where he has like 2-3 hits, blows it up. More often than not, he is absolutely useless at the plate. His at-bats suck. I actually can't stand watching him. And here's what I'm going to say, because this isn't just like a reactionary thing. This is actually pretty well thought out, in my opinion. Right now, he's hitting 178. He's got a 303 on-base percentage, a 357
over 300.
slugging, right?
There it is.
Yeah, finally over 300. This is your leadoff hitter.
Mhm.
I don't want my leadoff hitter who plays like that. So 1 hit today, 0 hits, 0 hits, 3 hits, 0 hits, 0 hits, 2 hits, 0 hits, 2 hits, 1 hit. That's been his May. And now I have to sit here and act like his May is great. Like everybody's freaking out because he's hitting 250 in May going into this game, 824, OPS. When you go to April, 0 hits, 0 hits, 1 hit, 0 hits, 1 hit, 0 hits, 1 hit, 0 hits, 2 hits, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. This is your leadoff hitter.
It sounds like code.
Yeah. So do you see my point? Is that my leadoff hitter should not be a guy who's all in every 3 games he has like a 2-hit game.
Which
I would
probably
rather
tells
have
the
him just
story
be
of
a
that he
one-hit
really
guy.
capitalizes on matchups. Like you can basically be like, hey, in this matchup, the Yankees as a unit probably had their way, and Trent Grisham also had his way in that game. But then in the type of game where you're like, oh, this ace on the other side's got it going, and we need to fight in innings 5, 6, and 7. Trent Grisham's not the type of guy. And overall, this is not really a Trent Grisham thing. This is also a Yankee style of hitting type of thing.
Yes.
Is Austin Wells the type of guy you want to send up there to start a rally? Is Trent Grisham the guy, after the offense has struggled for 4 or 5 innings, is he the guy you want to send up there to start up a rally? Or is he really just trying to walk and he hits while everyone else is hitting? That's kind of what Grisham is. And Big Boss Baby Bomber, Jake has put this up on the screen. He says, and then every time Grisham has a good game, all the analytics nerds cream their pants and then wait 2 weeks until the next good game. Hey, Jake, did you get any messages today on Mother's Day of anyone saying, hey, can't wait for you guys to weigh in on Grisham? No. You know why? Because he can go 0 for the next 4 games. People can talk about his luck. And then on the 5th game, Jake, because they still pretend we said he'll never play a good game ever again.
Yep.
He'll go 3 for 3 and walk twice. They're like, he was on base 5 times today. And that covers him for the rest of the next week. He gets on base 5 times in one day, and then he doesn't get a hit all week. That's it.
It's ridiculous. It's also unbecoming of a leadoff hitter. I don't care what anyone says that's not a leadoff hitter. And I'm all about things making sense. Grisham leading off does not make sense. Like we talked about, what do leadoff hitters, by the way, what are they supposed to do late in games? Aren't they supposed to get on base? He doesn't do that. He doesn't do anything, actually, late in games. He did that last year. He had the OPS. I don't give a shit if he slugs. I want him to just get on base.
They didn't even give us his ops. They gave us his slugging. His slugging led the league last year in clutch situations.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
However, all of offense in Major League Baseball isn't slugging. And I get that's not really what they're saying, but I guess the moral of the story is when your leadoff hitter comes up to the plate, you want to be sure that he's a table setter, a guy who gets hits and has more consistency. If your level of consistency is low, and I can get an over, oh, you're on base 3 times, over, on base twice, over. That's not the type of at bat the Yankees should start a game with. So that doesn't mean Grisham is useless. I actually said he should still be part of the postseason roster in a Raul Ibanez type platoon niche job. That's okay. Like he can hit 2 huge home runs in the championship series.
Can you believe
people be like, Gary, you thought he was useless? No, I didn't. I said he shouldn't start in leadoff.
There are analytic people out there who think that this dude should play over Spencer Jones. They think that this dude should play over Jason Dominguez. I know Spencer Jones is off to a little bit of a rocky start at the plate, although I think his at-bats are better than Grisham, to be honest with you.
I would start Jason Dominguez in center field. And then if he's so bad defensively that he's unplayable, then Jason Dominguez has to go. If you cannot field your position as an outfielder, as an age 24 player, I can't do anything with that as a full-time DH. He's not that good of a hitter to be a full-time DH. So yeah, David says watching Spencer Jones in center made Grisham look like a bad center fielder. Well, Grisham's not a bad center fielder. I guess he's just slightly below average. That's what the numbers tell us.
Yeah, and I think Spencer Jones, you heard Michael K today. He was going down the line. He's like, he's fast. I was like, I tried to tell y'all, he's not just some like giant, King Kong, like he actually moves. Like this isn't, you know what I mean? Like it's funny the way people thought he was just Jim Tomei and he just had like no mobility. This dude is fast. He's a great athlete to go with the 6'7", 240 body composition. I mean, you're talking about honestly just an athletic outlier. You don't see too many people like Spencer Jones, but I think he looks really good in the outfield, and particularly I thought he looked really good in center field. So I'm hoping that's where he ends up playing, and I'm hoping this whole, whatever. Although that said, the platoon doesn't make any sense because why would Spencer Jones ever not play over Trent Grisham once he gets going? Like, because the thing is, Spencer Jones is going to get going. Like, it's clear as day. He's going to get going. This was a very tough matchup this series, and I was honestly impressed with some of the things I saw. I saw some things where, yeah, okay, he's whiffing. That's fine. There are plenty of guys that whiff. Aaron Judge whiffs all the time. Ohtani whiffs. I think we've just kind of gotten to this point where we have too much of this analytical data we didn't have back in the day. So now, like, for instance, having like access to whiff rate, now we've just basically turned that into he sucks. It's like, okay, well, what about Judge? What about Ohtani? What about Yordan Alvarez?
Do you know what Reggie Jackson's whiff rate would have been?
Would have been crazy as much as I love him.
Astronomical. It would have been ridiculous. His whiff rate was way up there. And what matters is what does it look like when the ball actually hits your bat? And also, even more importantly, outside of that one player, what does the rest of the roster look like? Are they table setters? Do you have contact-oriented players surrounding this power-first guy who has a high whiff rate to make his presence make sense?
Didn't Ohtani
That's what I've been
have 3
arguing
home runs
all along.
in a World Series game?
Jim Tomei?
No, Ohtani.
I thought he did it just in a postseason game. If I'm not mistaken, I thought that was in the championship series.
Okay, you might be right. Because, isn't that funny? Ohtani whiffs a lot, and he had 3 home runs in a postseason game, and Reggie Jackson whiffed a ton, and he had 3 home runs in a World Series game. It's interesting how that works.
Yeah, you definitely can produce in October, but the style that works best, there's a reason Derek Jeter was our most clutch offensive player.
No,
because
absolutely.
His style of play, easy. It's just easier to adjust 0-2. Derek Jeter gets 2 bad calls off the plate. His style of play allows him to get back into counts and actually create damage. Whereas some of the bigger power hitters in the history of the game, you throw them up there in October, they go behind 0-2, and you look at their numbers, you're like, oh man, most of the damage he was doing in the regular season was 2-1 count, right? 2-2, 1-0, 0-0. And once you see some of the better pitching, you don't really see those matchups anymore. And then that's just not going to work. And so I think
Jason is clearly better than Grisham right now. I don't actually think it's remotely close. If we're going to do expected stats, and that's not what I'm saying that Go Kinsman is doing, but all I ever hear with Grisham is what he's expected to do. Well, that just sounds to me like a whole bunch of nothing because he's not doing anything. But if we're using expected stats, what if I told you J-Dom for life actually is hitting 326 expected batting average? He's actually he's looked really good. And oh, by the way, his strikeout rate is in the upper 90 percentile. Okay. So he's not striking out. His walk rate isn't as high as you would like, obviously, but he's been a very, very interesting player. The 200 batting average doesn't really, do it justice. And he's been unlucky. But you know what? That doesn't essentially fit the narrative. Jason Dominguez is a better overall hitter than Trent Grisham. If I had the game on the line, I want Jason Dominguez at the plate over Trent Grisham. If game 7 of the World Series, 3-2 count, give me Jason Dominguez over Trent Grisham. Because guess what? Jason Dominguez is going to change his swing. He does that. And he's good at getting the bat on the ball. Trent Grisham is swinging for the fences. That's all he does. He walks or swings for the fences. And if he makes contact, sometimes he hits home runs. More often than not, he doesn't. So, yeah.
Is it fair to say, by the way, my opinion on Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones, and Trent Grisham is that none of the 3 at the big league level so far have earned the right to just be considered the starter. So here's what I mean by that.
I don't think that's crazy.
You should just be rotating these players until one of them separates. I don't give a rip if Jason Dominguez gets it figured out and becomes our center fielder. Same thing with Spencer Jones. Same thing with Trent Grisham. If Trent Grisham wants to separate himself, I can't wait for him to do that. If Spencer Jones does it, awesome. Can't wait. But none of these three. Jason Dominguez has gone out there. He set it off when he first got up to the big leagues. He proved that they moved him from center field to left field and he couldn't field his position. So then they just chalked it up that he's not good enough to play defensively to even play in October. They sat him down for Alex Verdugo. Then we go into the following year, he's injured. So if you're not available enough to take this job, then there's nothing I can do for you. Spencer Jones just got the call up. To Brian Cashman's credit, he's here. And I believe when Jason Dominguez is healthy, Spencer Jones is healthy and on the field, right? Trent Grisham's healthy and on the field. Each one of these players should have an opportunity to separate themselves with actual data, not expected numbers. Give me real numbers. And if you can do that, the Yankees are going to be better off. But as of now, none of these three players are proven. So we're sitting here saying he's better than him and he's better than him. No one's done anything. Not one of these guys has proven anything at the big league level of late.
Well, Trent Grisham did was he's at least an MLB player. You know, he's been here for a long time. But I get your point. And
this isn't last year. This is 2026.
Yeah.
When you're talking about this year, Trent Grisham, the conversation was this guy is going to regress to the means. Not a for sure. This was just predictions from a lot of people. A lot of people said, oh, $22 million. This is an overpay. What are the Yankees thinking? They said that because they thought Trent Grisham would regress to some degree. Not be horrible, but have a regression. Then you have two top prospects who are trying to find a position to play, and there's only one to play, and it's Trent Grisham's spot. Trent Grisham's not playing good enough baseball where you can just be like, oh yeah, sorry, Jason, and sorry, Spencer Jones, no spots for you. No one's playing good enough to be considered the starting center fielder. So I think they should all be rotating until one of them decides I'm just better than you guys.
And also his expected stats have gone down, but that doesn't fit a narrative. Trent Grisham's expected batting average is now 228. So
yeah, I mean, I think that sounds about right. I expected him. I think I said he would hit 209, and you were right around the same ballpark. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of just tired of the whole Grisham gets by on luck, and it's like, okay, yeah, we'll just insert that. I mean, you said that because it's exactly like what was said. I mean, he could have 4 bad games in a row. He has a good 5th game, and now people are in our mentions telling us, oh, you guys should change your tune. Here's what I want for the next series, okay? I want Spencer Jones to play every single day until he can't play every single day. That's what I want, because I think we need to extract something out of him. Because, I mean, I don't think it's hard to see, as much as I like Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones has potential that I think he's got the most potential in the entire lineup. Because as much as I love Ben Rice, say what you will, Ben Rice has already hit that potential, in my opinion. I think he's already what he is. I don't know if I could say what he was supposed to be, but I think he's already Ben Rice. He's now becoming a household name. Spencer Jones, in my opinion, has more potential than anybody in this lineup, because Ben Rice is, in my opinion, already kind of found what he could be, and maybe we didn't even realize he could be that. So
yeah, so you're saying Ben Rice is not potential. Ben Rice is a finished product at this point.
I think so.
If he doesn't get any better, and he's a 290 hitter, right now he's hitting over 300, but if he's a 290 hitter with pop and is playing average to slightly below average defense at first base, the Yankees take that any day of the week for the next 100%. Decade. Whereas Spencer Jones is just right now, he's taken about 5, 6, 7 at bats in his career. He's only potential. So the Yankees have to figure out, do you want to throw Grisham out there, which is a pretty low ceiling, but the floor is also, there's going to be a higher floor to what you're going to get. Or do you want to see Spencer Jones out there to see if he can go to a ceiling and a level that none of those other players potentially can reach? And you're going to see this is an Aaron Boone conversation, what they intend on doing with the talent. And that'll be really exciting to see.
And real quick,
what do you have to say?
What you were saying, because I had this on my mind. What you were saying about Grisham, Spencer Jones, and Jason Dominguez.
Yes.
I know they're having a hard time like viewing it like this because they're like, well, we have our guys and our guys were good last year and got us to the playoffs and all that. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I think unless you are Rice, Judge, Bellinger, Caballero, every single position should be that of like a timeshare, and you should have to earn it.
That's fair.
And I mean, it's not unheard of. Jazz Chisholm Jr. has not attributed more to this team than Gleyber Torres did. I don't think that's a crazy take. And Gleyber Torres got benched. Literally, Aaron Boone was like, I don't like the way you ran to first the other day. I'm literally benching you. Benched him for
Didn't
like 3 games.
Didn't we put a timeshare at shortstop as well, to your point?
Yes.
Because Caballero, when he got here,
that's how it became a thing.
Volpe didn't get hurt, and then Caballero showed up. It was a timeshare. And actually, they both were playing solid for a little bit there during the timeshare. And there was questions of, oh, is it because of the timeshare? But in reality, it was just competition. And it made them play better. Maybe it's why Grisham played better baseball last year, is that there was actually a 4-man outfield and there was competition. He was forced to earn a job.
Yeah.
Maybe. And so I think it's healthy to look at Jason Dominguez and say, hey, enough with the talks about the fact that your contact, maybe a little less power. Spencer Jones has got the whiff rate, but he's got the pop and the defense and he can run. Instead of us trying to judge players and figure out who's better without seeing any data to back anything up, why don't we let these three just run out there, take consistent at-bats? And I know it's tough to get consistent at-bats between 3 players at one position, but you need to figure out who's better somehow. It's only going to come on the field. So I don't have a horse in this race. I don't care. Any one of these 3 can help us win a World Series. And obviously, if you ask my opinion, I think it's the more contact-oriented player. That's just my take on how the best offense is played when it matters most. And that guy, if I'm really being honest, is not Spencer Jones. It's not Trent Grisham. It's Jason Dominguez. And it's unfortunate that he's injured, but that's just my take on the direction this Yankees offense should go and what will help them in some of these close series where contact seems to have the most importance. So I know it sucks that my take is, oh, I think the best guy for the job is the guy who's hurt for 3 weeks now, but we're going to figure out, at least by the end of this year, how serious Boone is about Jason Dominguez and his development, because now that Spencer Jones is here, it's hard to uncrinkle that paper. Now there's 3 guys in the building, and Jason Dominguez may not ever see that role again. It's not that I'm claiming that, but it's difficult to just throw Spencer Jones back down to the minor leagues if he suddenly starts playing well.
Well, and kind of to your point, if you were to make a contact lineup, say like in a way like the MLB The Show, they have the contact bar. Like, oh yeah,
yes, love that bar.
Yes. So you take all the guys, you ask MLB The Show, just give me the 9 guys in a lineup that offer the most contact. Mm-hmm. This is what I think is the most realistic.
Okay.
So looking at center field would be Jason Dominguez.
Correct.
First base, Paul Goldschmidt. DH would likely be, well, it doesn't really matter, but DH, I mean, I guess you're just going to keep Aaron Judge there. Or no, I think you would put him in right field. Yeah, you put him in right field. DH we'll figure out. Left field stays Cody Bellinger. Second base is probably going to be Rosario, because guess what? Jazz Chisholm does not offer more contact right now than Ryan McMahon. He just doesn't. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I consistently see. Jose Caballero, shoe-in on the roster. Then you have a catcher, Ben Rice. Then there you go. Like your DH, I mean, you kind of figure that out. But I mean, like, I don't know. Who would you have at DH? I mean, it's like, I think 8 out of those 9 guys, I feel very confident in saying maybe Grisham's your DH. But I mean, that would be your contact lineup. And I mean, I guess you could argue DH might even be somebody that's in the minor leagues. You might have to go with like George Lombard Jr. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we do expect to see him at some point, but obviously, guys, that's not how lineups are built. Power is still really important if it's surrounded by the right thing. And that's where Spencer Jones comes in. Spencer Jones isn't some standalone solution where it's like, hey, you want to hit for more contact? Put me in, coach. No, he's not the contact hitter. If it's 0-2, he's not the hitter you want at the plate. But when it's convenient to have him up there, is there's bases loaded and you're down 2-3 runs on the road. and all of a sudden he comes up and he gets ahead of a count, he's the guy you want up there. So he's not useless. He's just not ideal in some situations. So we have to be a little bit more practical and long-term thinking with how some of these guys fit our roster. And yeah, you could argue that Spencer Jones isn't the perfect fit for the team, but that's not his fault. It has nothing to do with him. That also can be solved by simply putting out other contact style players around him, like a Jason Dominguez, right? Like a Cody Bellinger, like a Ben Rice. So
he might actually be, by the way. Because think about it, you get your Aaron Judge at the top of the lineup, and then you get that level of power with Spencer Jones once he figures it out at the bottom of the lineup. It really kind of balances out your lineup.
Yeah, it's you don't care about strikeouts if they're not consistently coming up in situations where strikeouts are not okay, where we can't survive without it. And when you look towards, the top of our lineup, we are missing some contact there. It's not a perfect fit. I did mention that the Yankees are still going to go with Trent Grisham because of the reasons I said. When he's getting the hits he expects to get, his on base percentage tends to swell. They're looking for somebody really to just get on base, and they're not looking for him to hit because Aaron Judge hits second. And I understand the theory. I understand the thought. It's just not the plan that I would employ. Like it's not that.
And he doesn't
Scott
even get
Ross,
on base
thank you.
Currently. So
yeah, no, not really. It's just now surpassed 300. So that's not very good. And you've also mentioned the expected stats from Grisham also aren't good. So as much as people lean on that, it's not really credible. No. Scott Ross, thank you for the 10. And sorry for burning into the screen. Says, I don't think they're a fraud. We completely agree. We think it's a little overblown, right? They're what we saw in 2024. Bednar is a mid closer. Cash didn't improve the pen, and they're really weak at catcher. McMahon's defense is also taking a dive. I believe he's made an error in 3 straight games. It's not great. And as far as the bullpen, we're good in niche opportunity. When we play with leads, I feel like overall, not in this series, but overall, we're a good bullpen. Doval shouldn't pitch ever. And when your setup man is a guy that I can say he should never pitch ever, and literally no one will disagree with me in the comments, with all the duality we have on social media and on the internet, not one person will disagree with the take I have that our setup man should never pitch under any circumstances unless it's just total garbage time. Then your bullpen, by definition, can't be that good.
It's time for Hedrick to take that role.
I would agree. I think right now the Yankees have to just fight and claw and just make guys earn positions rather than just make assumptions and throw them back over there based on their career numbers. I don't think that works. So yeah, Scott, it feels a little bit more like 2024, but the one thing I'll disagree with you on about 2024, this lineup is still as many mistakes as we've made in these big series. This team is still significantly better offensively than that 2024 group. And we're forgetting that because we beat Kansas City and Cleveland, they were just 2 mediocre baseball teams. And we really had 2 historically great players offensively in Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. And there was not much else after that. Jake, I literally named our lineup the other day, game 1 of the World Series. We didn't like not one hitter 5 and down.
No,
not one of them.
It's not what you want. But I would also say, going back to the bullpen thing,
yes.
I kind of had the realization today. Can we just call it like it is? We can give Boone blame and all of that. Fine. Bednar has not been good this year.
No, not at all.
Like it's finally, we were giving him some grace. We're like, okay, he's overused. He's not overused. He's pitched 17 innings, and Tim Hill has pitched 17 and a third, and Tim Hill's ERA is a 1.04 with a 0.81 whip. Okay. Brent Hedrick has pitched 21 innings, and his is a 1.71 ERA with a 1.24 whip. Do you know what Bednar's numbers are? 17 innings pitched. He has a 3.71 ERA and a 1.41 whip. That would be really good as a starting pitcher, although I don't love the whip. But as your closer's pushing 4 ERA, not what you want.
He hadn't pitched since Tuesday, and then he pitches Saturday, Sunday, and we didn't get good performance in either game, really. So what are we sitting here talking about?
The closer is struggling. Honestly, looking at the bullpen, here's what's happening, okay? For guys that have at least pitched double-digit innings, Jake Bird has a better ERA and whip than Bednar in 12 and 2/3 innings.
So we're pitching well.
No. My bad.
Situations.
Ryan
really
Yarbrough. I was looking at the wrong line. I was going to say Jake Bird. There's no way.
Yeah.
His 13 innings, he has a 4.85 ERA and a 1.23 whip. Great outing today. Doval has a 6.14 ERA with a 1.23 whip in 14 and 2/3. Fernando Cruz in 15 1/3 has a 2.93 ERA, 1.57 whip, which is just not good for the whip wise.
We knew his whip wouldn't be good.
Yeah, no, that's what you go into the assignment knowing what you have. Paul Blackburn, 2 point.
Holy shit! It's Paul Blackburn.
Oh my God, it's Paul Blackburn. If I had like a really cool accent, Paul Blackburn would be like amazing. But anyway, 2.87 ERA, 1.40 whip. Why do I bring this all up? You have some good, you have some bad, you have some fucking ugly in the bullpen right now. That's just the reality of the Yankees
mainly
bullpen.
At the end of the games.
And no one is talking about this. Gary, I actually regret our title. We should have said, is David Bednar the guy for the job? Because guess what? He is struggling. And that ERA, I know, again, it's under 4. He is the closer. That can't be under 4. That needs to be under 3. That is not good enough. And the 1.41 whip is not good enough. He's got 21 strikeouts, so he misses bats, right?
Okay.
That pitch he threw to Bryce Terang,
that
you and I would have hit that a mile.
Yeah, we wouldn't have, but the curveball to a big league hitter,
that thing was like a
Terang,
beach ball.
That pitch, he may as well have just turned around and thrown it himself over the wall. That pitch was horrible, and it was never going to work. And of course, Bednar has to be sharp because he doesn't have lights out stuff. And when people talk about stuff, we hate when they do that. But there's a reason that everyone's chasing stuff. You can get away with some mistakes. Cam Schlittler, if he goes right down the middle, that pitch is still 102. You can get away with it. But when you're talking about some get me over loopy curveball to one of the best hitters in the big leagues, that pitch is gone every time. It's gone.
Yeah. It was the worst pitch I've ever seen. It was just like,
that's not true. No. We saw that pitch last year. You remember the pitch?
Yes, the cement mixer that Bird threw. Oh my God.
He literally was just like,
you know what's so funny is they do the yes mo, which I always laughed at. Just call it slow mo. We don't need to brand that. But
yes mo.
Do you remember though? The ball was just like,
yes,
and it was just staying in the middle of the plate, and it's just like this. The funniest thing ever, and it's like, well, that was a cement mixer. Did you remember? It was David Cohn was just like, that was terrible.
The catcher put his glove up behind actually the contact, and I was like, man, the catcher should just put his glove down. That pitch was never getting to you.
Yeah, no, he was not. That pitch is not getting through. But no, look, the bullpen has some good. Like that's what I mean. Like good, the bad, the ugly. David Bednar isn't the ugly. He's not even the bad. He's just like and you can't have an closer, right? And that kind of coincides with what we were saying. Unless you're clearly running away with your job, every single position should be up for evaluation. Every single position. And the evaluation could take 2 seconds in the case of Aaron Judge, but every single position should be up for reevaluation, in my opinion. And right now, David Bednar is struggling. And if he continues to do that and the ERA goes over 4, are we just going to be like, no, we traded with Bednar closing in mind? Like, we can't just change our plans. Yes, you can. It happens all the time.
Well, the Los Angeles Dodgers can do it. They quite literally did. They had a closer.
You did it the year you went to the World Series. You were like, oh, no one, Clay Holmes. And then you finally got the message that nobody, tell me they had a pulse on the fan base without telling me. Just kidding. They did not, because there were so many people that were like done with Clay Holmes. And they're like, no. Clay Holmes is an elite closer. So much so they started to get like Aaron Judge out there, and he didn't even look like he was seriously saying it. He'd be like, yeah, there's nobody I'd rather go to work with than Clay. And you just knew, you're like, all right, that's not real. There's nobody else I'd rather have on the mound. And then we were all saying, you know what? Like, my dad brought it up, and then we started talking about it on the podcast. And magically, everybody started talking about Luke Weaver. But Luke Weaver was the guy that we kind of pegged as like he should be the closer.
We didn't say
Luke
he
Weaver
will be long term. We said he should be given the chance.
But he was the best of the options.
He definitely was the best
Yes.
of the options at the time. Yes.
Yes. It wasn't necessarily, like, oh, yeah, he's our long-term closer. I like Bednar too, B-Rye. It's not at all to say that Bednar isn't good. And who replaces Bednar then? That's the thing. I don't know. I don't have those answers. But if he does, and again, I'm not saying to bench him. I'm not saying to take him out of the closer role right this second. But if it continues, we have to be honest with on our show. Bednar is not great right now. And is this going to turn around? We don't know. I will tell you, the World Baseball Classic, there are a lot of players, more players than not, that are really struggling. So it's
Best
not just
catcher in the game is like not a good big leaguer right now. He's not even.
I called it. I knew he was going to fall off. I didn't know this badly. I did not know this
nobody
badly.
possibly
but
could have predicted this. But
I knew he was going to regress because last year was just absolutely a one-year thing. He is not that good. He's not. He's a good player. He's not that good. I
thought
think
this year
elite.
we'd get like 38 homers. And by the way, a 38 home run season is good.
Yeah.
Especially for a catcher.
But you also had him regressing, though, so give yourself some credit.
Well, I think anyone in the world had any player hitting. I mean, you could have honestly said when Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs, you could have technically been like, he's going to regress next year, and you'd probably be right.
By the way, I don't think I had Roman Anthony and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hitting fewer home runs combined than Jose Caballero on my on my bingo card.
Yeah, we should just put a rule. Nobody gets to play in the WBC.
Yeah, dude,
it's weird.
It's tough.
You go out there and they just stink coming back, man.
Some guys just are like, excuses? Oh, no. Like Bryce Terang goes out there and he basically rakes in the WBC and then comes back and he rakes in the MLB. And it's just like, you all kind of are just pathetic.
Yeah, because I remember Trey Turner. Remember the last WBC we had, not this one, but the last one. Trey Turner was our best player.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like he came back to play for the Philadelphia Phillies and was just like setting it off. All of a sudden he was struggling, then
hitting 220. Yeah.
He was hitting 220. They had to boo him. Then they're like, you know what? Let's cheer for him on a random day at the park and see if that helps. And it did. He turned it around. It's tough, apparently. Like these guys, for whatever reason, they go play in the WBC. Maybe it's
Tatis
just like
has 0 home runs in 144 at bats.
Yeah, my mom was at the game today and he flew out to the wall. So I was on the phone with her literally while the ball was off the bat. She's like, wait, I think he hit a home run. Oh, I could hear the whole crowd just dejected. For those of you who've been to an NBA game ever, you're, it was great. Even though I wasn't rooting for it, but
every shot that goes up at home, they're all like, it's so funny. It's like, think about that. If you do that every single shot, you've done that over 100 times.
And they do.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
They do. And Ninja Hot Dog with the 5, he has since gone to bed. I could tell that when I was reading the super chat. But thank you, Ninja. We really appreciate the 5. Good luck on your AP Calc test tomorrow, because I don't think I've ever taken AP anything.
I never took Calc, so I don't know what that even is.
No, every once in a while, you know what happened? When I was in high school, I'd show up like the first day of school and I'd walk in and it would be all the kids going, Gary, no way you're in my class. And I go, yeah, man. Yeah. And we're all excited. And I'm like, oh, she's in this class. He's in this class. This is going to be the best year ever. And then all of a sudden they're like, all right, guys, we're going to be passing out all the stuff that you need to get signed by your parents. And, you need to get all this stuff signed and you need to read it, sign it when you get home to make sure you understand all the rules and regulations of our class. And they go, yeah, this is AP history. And I go, I'm in the wrong class. Every time. AP was not for me. I was not a great student, but Ninja Hot Dog
was not for me, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, we're not great with instruction, but Ninja, best of luck tomorrow, and thank you for the super. He says we're 1-8 versus teams above 500 for whatever that's worth on May 10th. At this point, we could be a fraud. Watching this team feels like Groundhog Day again. That is true. We technically could be frauds, but you cannot possibly conclude in early May that someone's a fraud. So
No,
that's where we're at with it. But thank you for that. And Kid Reyes, welcome back, who's a mod of ours. Thank you for doing so and keeping the jabronis who are jobless in the comment section that basically just show up here to complain just for the sake of it. And you keep everything straight and away. We really appreciate you. Thank you for the 5. It says Wells, to me, needs to head back down. Interesting. That's not happening. JC, with little to no playing time, comes through with runners in scoring position more than full-time Wells, and that's inexcusable. Now, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the 5. And guys, again, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified, and like the video is a great way. Hyping the video below in the comment section is a great way to help support the channel. I don't agree with the takeaway about sending Wells down. I think Jake's point about these are 2 platoon bats. We face a righty, Wells plays. We face a lefty, JC plays. And if you want to upgrade, make a trade. I would root for it. I would. I would like a better catcher. I would like a better catcher. But given where we are, I don't think the answer is to send Wells down for development. I think he is who he is. He's not going to hit lefties. He's going to hit righties at about a 225 clip. He'll hit.
I would like to see, though, if they sent him down, if like our minor league system, like just the way they develop guys, all of a sudden Austin Wells has like a 1200 OPS. And then at that point, I could like maybe be like, you know what? Because say what you will, there are MLB pitchers in AAA. And I don't really put the stock that like, guy who has a 1200 OPS is going to not be able to hit in the MLB. I would honestly start to point the finger at Rousen, and I already do. I still think Wells deserves a lot of blame, but I've been consistent on this. I don't think that for whatever reason, he's got this loopy, long, like I'm trying to hit a home run every time swing. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine by me. And honestly, Jake, oh, bless you.
I hate sneezing so much. I had to finish my point, didn't even finish it, and then was just like, oh, it's time to sneeze in front of 258 people that are watching.
Yeah, I thought you were having a stroke. I was like, hold on, I'm a little worried here.
No. I mean,
the break didn't make sense, but now
the crazy thing was 3 sneezes, because normally I sneeze 11 times, and my girlfriend will sit there and be like,
yeah, by like the 7th or 8th, you just get pissed off waiting for someone to finish sneezing. There's nothing.
No one's more pissed off. I'd rather be waterboarded for 2 minutes than ever sneeze. It's straight up. I say it all the time, and I mean it.
I believe you. But Kid Reyes, it's definitely the fact that they're platoon players, and we don't platoon them. So, yes. And by the way, I want to put my hand up and say I was wrong. When they were platooning Trevino and Wells, they were right. I was wrong. Now we've gone into the Wells as a full-time player. He's not a full-time player. That's no disrespect. It's what the stats indicate. And Liam Wallace, our favorite Red Sox fan, I believe. Is Liam Wallace a Red Sox fan? Is that what it was?
I think
I thought it was another Liam.
Liam,
in the comment section, let us know if you're the Red Sox fan. I think there's another Liam, but keep us posted on that, and then
we have a lot to remember in our chat. Like, it's hard. So
yeah, and it's also a lot easier when people actually are able to put their real name and not their @. So Liam, thank you for the 5. Says Yankees bullpen. You guys have everything else. Bednar is good, but he's not Mason Miller or Aroldis Chapman. Your thoughts?
No rebuttal, no remix, no nothing. He definitely is not Mason Miller or Aroldis Chapman. But
no, if we had a better bullpen, like if you could take Bednar, let's just say this: if Bednar could go to the setup role, okay, let's just say hypothetically, and maybe you don't do Mason Miller, maybe you don't do Aroldis Chapman, but let's just say you have a guy that you could absolutely say, hey, that guy, the way he's performing is a top 5 closer in the game. Bednar, who's still a really good arm, he's good enough to close games, but when he doesn't have it, it's just like horrendous. If he was our setup man and then we had a better closer, what's the temperament on the team then? What's the temperament on the bullpen then? And I feel like the answer would probably be a lot different than what we're seeing now. But yeah, Bednar definitely doesn't have the stuff that some of those guys, I mean, go figure, Jake. The names that he put up there, Mason Miller or Aroldis Chapman, 103, 103. It's almost like the velocity does actually have an impact.
Yeah, I think that the Yankees are going to have to get creative at the deadline when it comes to who they go after, because, you know, it's not as simple as just, oh, there's this guy and this guy available. Most of the league isn't good, like we talked about. Most of the league is below sea level, as I put it. When you look at the bullpen arms, right, there's not really anybody that just totally stands out to me. And unfortunately, like you look at the Giants, who apparently are the first team to really admit that they're interested in trading key pieces. Who do the Giants have that the Yankees would even want? Like, their prized guy is Robbie Ray. I don't need another starting pitcher.
Robbie Ray, I think if we got Robbie Ray, I would just feel like we just have Carlos Rodon Jr.
who just screams every time I would hate Robbie Ray on this team. I don't want to listen to every freaking time he lets go of the ball. I can't. Oh,
you'd love tennis then. You'd love that.
No, I know. I've seen it before, but I mean, like with the Yankees though, can you imagine? Keep in mind, he throws 100 pitches. That's 100 grunts in one game.
Yeah, and it's not 103. Like, you're not seeing Paul Skeens stuff.
No.
And you're still getting the grunts.
He's a really good pitcher, but he's not good enough for me to listen to him grunting. It's like, as much as I love Dak Prescott, by the way, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch in the NFL, and I think he's grossly underrated. I also can do without the, here we go, every freaking time he is in the shotgun. Well, not even in the shotgun, when he's under center, every time, and just in general, it's all, yeah, here we go. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, it's one of those things, like, I can't stand that extracurricular stuff, and I don't need a mic to be that hot. I shouldn't hear that. Like, I shouldn't.
It doesn't do us any good, and it's not like at home we're going to be like, oh man, he said, here we go. That means they're getting out of this play.
Yeah.
No, we don't care. Just show us the play. And we also, when you're watching the NFL, you really don't have an angle to see anything anyways. We're kind of just like hindsight Hanks. The ball is thrown across the field, and we're like, we have no idea if the guy's open or not. It's interesting. It's like the only sport you can watch where you don't actually get to see what's developing. Have you noticed that?
I know. I'll say this, with Stafford and the Rams, they have the turbo set, but that like is almost like while they're snapping. So it's like, you don't really hear it that much. I don't need to hear the, here we go. And I don't need to hear the, like every freaking time this dude lets go of the baseball. It's
As
unreal.
you guys can see, Jake does not like the sound effects. He doesn't like the PA system at Yankee Stadium. He doesn't like the hot mics in the NFL.
It's better than listening to John Smoltz bitch about the Yankees, though. I'll take grunting for 3 hours while pitching over listening to John Smoltz just tell you how, like, just nonstop talk about the torpedo bats when, like, that was a thing 2 years ago. It feels like.
It wasn't even. It's so up the alley of people who don't really watch to just like overindulge into the torpedo bat thing. It was never.
That was normie central. I'm so glad we don't talk about that anymore.
It wasn't good content. So Ed W, who's been a member for 20 months, Ed, we really appreciate the support. Says, totally off topic, want to mention how impressive Belly's discipline to preserve his health among 20 brittle guys doing dumb stuff. Never slides headfirst, always aware of the wall, etc. Fire Grisham. Okay, so I actually want to bring up an overhanging point that Ed W is really getting to here. And everyone always chalks up injuries to a poor stroke of luck.
You love this. You love this topic.
It's my favorite topic in sports history. So Ed, I hope you enjoy this. Injuries can absolutely be bad luck. No questions asked. You can get hit by a line drive. You could sprint to first base, you could tear your hamstring. There's absolutely ways you can get injured that are outside of your control. Having said that, has anyone here, and I'd imagine you guys have, has anyone watched Ken Griffey Jr. play baseball before? He was pretty fun to watch.
He was great.
Did he seem concerned running into walls, sliding headfirst into walls, diving feet first into walls, right? Same thing with, you look at guys like Pete Rose, you look at different players that have played in our game, and you see what some people do on plays and you're like, that was risky. And ultimately, sometimes we're saying risky because it's physically risky. And you have to look at the situation. Is this going to be Nelson Cruz going up to the wall? And if I catch this baseball, my team wins the World Series. And I believe that was 2011. Is it that play where I can put my body on the line? Or is it Aaron Judge running into the wall and breaking his toe, right? And tearing a tendon against the Los Angeles Dodgers in a meaningless play, right? You have to be able to stay healthy and disciplined to protect yourself. Have to. And Jazz Chisholm also, not to pick on him, because we've also seen other players on this roster really struggle with this. They'll just go diving headfirst into home plate and be like, I can't believe the luck that this man has dealt with an injury. There's a bunch of rules to tell you should never slide headfirst, period. That's one. You shouldn't be sliding headfirst into first base ever. You shouldn't be sliding into home plate headfirst ever unless it's a playoff do or die. You're literally talking about a game-winning play in a postseason game, and it's a hook slide to save the entire outing. Other than that, you really want to see Aaron Judge slide headfirst into bases? I don't. You should be protecting yourself. And I think this point that Ed's bringing up about discipline and preserving your health is about the marathon that is the baseball season. Yes, me doing something may seem like I'm helping the play right now, but if I do something like that, I could jeopardize the entire season. And I'm getting paid all this money to be available the entire season. So I could not agree more, Ed. I think overall, Cody Bellinger's not just a hard worker. He's not just a smart player in terms of where he goes with the ball, the type of routes he takes, that he can play all these different positions, that he can run the bases hard. He also knows when should I and when shouldn't I take a risk physically. And there's other players on this team who could actually learn a lot from that. And I hope they do, because it'll make us a better team. And it might not even have to do with him really at all.
Yeah. No, I love that. I agree. I mean, I always bring up the Derrick Rose thing. Like, his high school coach was like, you can't cross up a guy that hard. Like, you will literally tear your ACL. And he just kept freaking doing it. And then obviously Derrick Rose is synonymous to the ACL tear and the injuries that he had, unfortunately. And it's like, that's his level of play. I mean, I worry about that with Puka Nacua, the way he plays. I mean, you've talked about it. Dude literally just tries to run people over instead of going out of bounds. And, you know, you brought up Deion Sanders the other day. And I bring up Deion Sanders because he made business decisions. He was not a great tackler. He would literally dodge tackles. And so he can stay healthy and play another down, right? Bo Jackson, right? Bo Jackson would just run into the wall. And he was a running back in the NFL. So, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, you try, like, Derek Jeter took, like, yoga, like, in ballet, so, like, he could try to keep himself, like, not making false steps, not doing anything crazy, being in control. I think that's a really underrated aspect of staying healthy. Aaron Rodgers, like, teaching himself how to get sacked by a defender, because, like, it's one of those things, like, if you try to, okay, somebody has your ankle and you try to swing the opposite way, you could actually do further damage. And honestly, that's one of the things that he, you know, gets the most upset about with the torn Achilles, because he worked on that for so long and was just like, you know, to have that happen, it was so kind of abrupt. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, I mean, you absolutely can have things that pop up, freak injuries. I mean, no one thought Kevin Ware with, I remember this one. Do you remember Kevin Ware, Louisville, jumping up?
His bone was pointing at me basically on the TV set.
Yeah, like, no one could have assumed that was going to happen. Even when he jumped up in the air, it seemed like pretty, like, okay, we see that all the time. That's a pretty common thing. To come down and, like, have his bone just pop out, have it's called a compound fracture, I believe, when the bone sticks out. Like, no one would have thought that, right?
Of course.
Yeah, the whole Ryan Shazier thing, right? How he ends up getting somewhat paralyzed. I think now he's better, but he was never going to play football again.
It's a freak play. Those are understandable.
100%.
But when you're the type of guy who's like, Oh, I'm diving headfirst into the play. Oh, the ball's at the wall. It's game 2 of a series in the middle of May. I'm going to dive headfirst into the wall, and then everyone's going to go crazy when I make this play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. And you also might just get hurt, right? And not to say that Jason Dominguez made a play that was reckless or anything of that nature, but there's also ways that sometimes having a better baseball IQ can also protect you from some of these injuries. And I think the longer he plays at Yankee Stadium, he'll also maybe be a little bit more aware that, hey, that left field wall that's to my left over my head, yeah, they shouldn't have an ad board there where there's a screen where they're just running ads to make more money. That's a safety hazard behind me to my left shoulder. And understanding that, as much as that doesn't feel like baseball, it's a part of your career. And that, to be fair, that shouldn't be there. The Yankees need to get rid of that. There should be padding on everywhere that there's a wall at Yankee Stadium. All these assets and all the money we pay these guys, there's no reason they should be running into a chain link fence at a multi-billion-dollar property. There's no reason for that.
Didn't you learn this like when you played in LA and Judge got the foot injury? Like literally cost them their season?
And to be fair, that Aaron Judge also, for one, it was a learning experience for him. He's clearly made an adjustment, and now we watch what that looks like. He's playing much smarter at the wall.
Yes.
As far as diving, not getting his arm caught behind him. He seemingly understands not to be bulletproof, but do as much as I can to physically control injuries. And so far, Aaron Judge has actually he's done a better job statistically of being available for this team, and that makes him more valuable. So Cody Bellinger did the exact same thing. I hope that Jason Dominguez can do that as well, because so far he struggled physically to stay on the field, right? He has the UCL injury. That has less to do with it. But you run into a wall at a play on the wall. Yeah, it's something that's a learning experience. And I hope that everyone gets better from that.
No, I do as well. And then Scott Ross coming in with the broccoli. It's not Yankees, but can we discuss how Ohtani all of a sudden can't hit a fastball? He's looked like Grisham. I know we'll be back, but it's bad. Yeah, I mean, World Baseball Classic again. I don't know. It's really kind of messed with some of these guys. And I can't stand the kind of, like, maybe I'm making it too much of a deal about it, and that's certainly possible, Gary. But I can't stand the people who are like, no, it doesn't do anything to the swing. That's totally rubbish. That's just an excuse. Well, an excuse can still be a reason for something being the case. And when we have this much data, this group, this focus group, we have this many guys that are top notch at the their jobs, and they're struggling like levels that we've never seen. I think it's definitely fair to question it.
It's an outlier performance. Has Ohtani ever struggled hitting fastballs of the last 7 years? No,
absolutely not.
So should we just simply say, okay, well, that's all the data we need? Clearly the WBC? Probably not.
No.
But you can absolutely say the WBC could be a factor. And maybe for him, it's just a matter of it's going to take him longer to get back to the baseline. Maybe the same thing for Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge doesn't look like Judge right now. He's hitting home runs, and that's great, but he's also not hitting 325, which we usually see every year. So, yeah, it's just one of those situations, I believe, that you hate to say there's excuses, but when there's enough of a sample size of something, maybe the excuses has some validity to it. So,
agreed.
Ohtani's, I mean, at least he's pitching well, right? So we'll give him that, and I believe that was the one thing he didn't do at the WBC. So, interesting.
So we also don't make excuses over on Prize Picks. So here's
we also
the
don't
one
make any money over there.
Here's the one right there. Ben Rice really blew that one. We had Garrett Mitchell striking out. Shocker, he struck out twice. I told you, not hard. Aaron Judge with his 3 HRR. I guess we're gonna call them HRRs because that's. I don't want to say hits, runs, RBIs every time. So HRRs, Ben Rice couldn't come through for us, and Spencer Jones came through for us. So we're trying to do a little bit of a better job here. I thought that was a pretty good slip, Gary. I think Ben Rice just kind of screwed us. I don't know.
It was. Ben, what do you have to say for yourself, man? I was looking. Gosh, I didn't bring it in here. No way. I've got 16 different red Solo cups over here. When you're a podcaster, you've got empty bottles of water like you've never seen. You guys would think I was a part of hoarders.
You just need
I was
an
hoping.
Owala. There you go.
I was gonna say I'm gonna start panhandling. I'm just gonna have to shake my cup if we continue to. I'm gonna have a beard, all of it.
Oh man,
we just keep losing these slips. Oh my gosh,
that's so funny. Anyway, I mean, hey, that's a win because we did the flex play, so we did actually win back some money. So
nice.
Well, let's say this. Okay, don't like Wells tomorrow. Tomorrow, the Yankees are pitching against somebody that I don't think they've ever seen before. He's relatively new. Brandon Young has a 4.35 ERA, a 1.45 WHIP. He's going to give up 22 hits in 20 2/3 innings. He's also going to only strike out 14 in that, 8 walks, 3 home runs. So this is not a great pitcher. I'm expecting the Yankees to be pissed off coming to Camden Yards, and I think they're going to tee off on this guy, truly. And I also think Ryan Weathers, who's back on the mound after that whole thing with losing 10 pounds or whatever, I think he's going to be good. So that said, I'm staying away from Weathers for this game just because I don't really love the strikeouts for him. So let's go. Aaron Judge, I think is going to go nuclear in this series. He typically dominates young pitchers. I don't know if you've noticed that. I definitely have. So I'm going to go with Aaron Judge here. We're going to do... I like the 2.5. What do you think? Or do you want to play it safe with 1.5?
I want to do 1.5. Okay. I do. It feels like every time he does something, he's pretty much a homer or bust type guy right now. I mean, it's not like he's hitting 207. So let's put some respect on his name. But I feel like if he gets the 1.5, he's probably going to get the 2.5. But let's keep him at 1.5. Spencer Jones should play tomorrow.
Against a righty, I like Spencer Jones tomorrow. I also like where Spencer Jones has been the lineup because Caballero is in front of him. So I'm actually going to hit him with a 1.5, just like today. I think that's a good, run producing opportunity there.
You know who else is going to get his hits for the week? And it's going to be Grisham. Not to say to put him on the pick, because I don't believe you should do that. However,
this series, you like him.
I like Grisham in this series because we're facing worse pitching. We're facing right-handed pitching. I believe that's a good matchup. Bad right-handed pitching is Trent Grisham's. So you like Ben Rice getting a little bit reacclimated into it. So Ben Rice ruined our slip Orioles.
I feel like that's a match made in heaven.
Okay.
We'll keep it friendly. We already got a demon. We don't need 2 demons.
And then let's do some Ks. How about that?
Yeah, I'm going to throw Caballero in there.
Okay.
Because it's just 0.5. So I like this run there. Bellinger's not at home, so I don't love the 1.5 being the goblin there. I think if he was at home with those splits, I'd probably go 2.5, honestly. But let's do the hitter strikeouts. We've been really nailing those. So Gunnar Henderson, he's a pretty good option there.
I think he's a great option. Lefty on lefty. He's actually really struggled so far against our lefties. I put Gunnar Henderson on the card for 1K. I don't look at Alonso personally.
Alonso's a Yankee killer. He always has been.
He also kills lefties, so I'm good.
O'Neill, I don't really like here. I'm leaning where you are. I'm leaning Gunnar Henderson, but let's just see if there are better options. You got Blaze Alexander. No, he strikes out every other day. The pattern doesn't work.
He's not due.
Jeremiah Jackson. This guy just doesn't really strike out. I don't know. Taylor Ward. He strikes out.
Let's get him on the card.
I like the 2 strike. This is like that dude that I kept picking. That his parents, if they're watching, probably hate me from the Brewers because he strikes out at least 2 times every game. It's just free money. So
can we put him up on the card? Let's do that.
This guy
1.5. Let's do it.
Taylor Ward, the guy that everyone wants to trade for at the deadline every year, and the Angels would never move off him, and now they finally did.
It's like what's his name from Minnesota that we never got. Kepler.
God. Freaking Kepler, dude. Kepler, Jake McCarthy for the Diamondbacks. Every Yankee fan wanted him for some reason. Oh, he's a really good defender. Yeah, he hits 212. Congratulations. And then who was the other guy? That one dude.
Quintana?
Yes. Every freaking deadline, the Yankees are interested in Jose Quintana. I was like, okay, can they not be? I'll pay them not to make that trade.
I'm willing to bet you that Jose Quintana, depending on what his career WAR is, because I know there's rules and regulations, he's probably going to make the Hall look pretty good on Instagram. For those of you who don't follow that account, highly recommend.
Probably.
Very good. Yeah.
Probably.
I can see it happening. I do.
Yeah, we will see. B-Rise says follow Yankees Unloaded picks to become a millionaire. Yeah,
I don't know about all that.
You could be something. $10 to win $50. We're gonna stick with the flex play. I don't know why Caballero's picture is so small and Taylor Ward is the biggest picture I've ever seen.
God. He looks like the guy from, have you ever seen Men in Black? Where the dude
my God.
just has a tiny head.
It's ridiculous, man.
Why is his head so small?
Dude, nobody else is like that. They're just like, yeah, Caballero. I mean, honestly, it doesn't help that Taylor Ward's is bigger than all of these.
Interesting. Yeah, I like these picks. So we're playing 10 to win 50. Gonna stay with the flex. We're flex prize picks unloaded. Play $5, guys. Get $50 instantly in lineups using code HMA. That is critical when you guys sign up and make these picks. Jake, I like these. Ben Rice shouldn't let us down a second day in a row, you have to imagine. So,
yeah, and Ben Rice, I mean, didn't he have 3 home runs against the Orioles?
Was that against Baltimore? I didn't. Honestly, I don't even remember. That was at home? I'm not sure who we were playing though.
Oh my God, do you remember? Ben Rice had the 3-run shot as well against the Orioles right before the All-Star break in 2024, I believe it was.
Okay.
And it was huge, right? It tied it up. They were down by 3 in the top of the 9th. Bottom of the 9th, everything was fine. Loop single over because Verdugo was playing so far in, and then he fell down.
Oh, I do. I remember that play. That was Baltimore. Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to die. That was
Can
awful.
anyone find that play, by the way? Where
Sadly.
Verdugo falls down? That was so bad.
Was it as... No, it wasn't. It wasn't as bad as Aaron Hicks just depressed. Like,
no, the reason that play where he fell down was bad was because we were struggling. That was why.
Oh, Lord.
That was a bad week of baseball. And then when he fell down, my Twitter timeline just exploded.
Oh my dude, that was the moment. Like, I think for the most, because keep in mind, I mean, he had a pretty good start to the season. So much so we were talking about like the future with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he falls down in that game when he was already struggling in that game. The Yankees were starting to struggle. And you could just see everyone was just like out on him. Like he could never recover from that. That was,
like the Mark Sanchez butt fumble. Like once you saw the butt fumble, you're like,
exactly.
That guy's he's dead basically. He's not here anymore.
Well, he's somewhere right now.
Yeah.
I can't even believe that all that stuff happened. But
he's had the most interesting life ever. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be a USC quarterback. I'm gonna be really good. I'm gonna get tackled by someone's ass cheeks in the NFL and fumble, and then it'll be run back for a touchdown.
It just be,
and
like
then I'm
gonna
beat
sometimes.
Somebody up in the middle of an alleyway out of nowhere. Most random storyline ever. I didn't even believe it when I saw it.
And then they showed the video, and I was like, this has to be AI. He didn't even look like a normal person.
No. And I was like, when I saw the name, I said, that's not.
I was bummed because I like Mark Sanchez on Sundays. I liked hearing him call games. I mean, he would like mess up pronunciation so bad. I remember there was a blocked punt, and he said, "Is that a block Kemp?" I was like, what the hell did he just say? Like, like when we just
that sounds like something you would say. Because
no, it's like
don't
something
forget,
we would
Paul
say.
Blackburn is coming out here for the
Scop
comment. Yeah, Scop was the best one we've had so far. I will admit.
That was you. Oh man, don't worry.
That was the best one we've got.
Oh man, it's so funny. But yeah, like Mark Sanchez, I thought was pretty good, but he would have those moments where he'd be like, "Is that a block Camp?" Like, what the hell did that dude just say? It was so funny.
Just letting it all out there.
Yeah, just having a ball. All right, let's do some.
Get to our voicemails. We're already at an hour and 45 minutes. And is tomorrow's a late game, correct?
Tomorrow's a 4:00 game.
Oh, I wonder how they figure that.
Oh wait, no, it's a 6:35 game. So not even late. It's just like it's a fraud game. It's trying to be late, but it's not actually a late game. So
same time the rest of the week, by the way. We have a day off Thursday, May 14th.
There's something that has to do with Baltimore that they do this, and I don't like it. It's like, oh yeah, we have all these 6:35 games to like. It's like to honor something, and I'm just like, that's stupid. It's the same.
I don't know what it could be. But
I don't know. I forget what it was, but yes, like Baltimore early on in the year has a bunch of those games. We got John Dowd in the house, everybody. Love John Dowd.
Hit no lower than 900 with him.
I always wished John Dowd was real. My dad would be like, he is. He's just Barry Bonds.
He is Barry Bonds.
And I was just like, no. I wish like John Dowd was real. Same with Reggie Stalker. Dude, those guys, they were different, man. They were different. They were better than NE coach Bill Belichick.
Oh, God.
I don't know who else like just refused to be in video games, but those are the two that come to mind.
Floyd Mayweather.
Really? He was always
for
in
anyone
Fight
who
Night
played in like Fight Night. He was in none of those.
He was in Fight Night Champion, I think.
Yeah, but after that he wasn't. He eventually took himself out of all those games.
Oh, so he wasn't in the non-Fight Night games. Because, I mean, after Fight Night, they haven't come out with a Fight Night since. It's Undisputed, I think it is. I have it.
Who else wouldn't be in video games? Because obviously Barry's the obvious one. He's in the GOAT conversation. So
Jordan, of course, wasn't until was it NBA 2K11 was the first one with him on the cover.
Yeah, 2K11's my favorite video game of all time, actually. And he was on the cover. I'm telling you right now, if I spend as much time on myself in my own person, just actually improving myself as I did playing NBA 2K11, I'd probably be Bezos somewhere on a yacht. You know how much time I wasted playing that game?
I wasted a lot of time. I think my all-time favorite sports game is the one that had TO on the cover, ESPN NFL 2K5.
Yeah, that was a great game too. But that game, it wasn't even like, it didn't have to be so realistic. It was just such a fun game.
Oh, yeah.
But
we'll do
it. A poster house that says time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. So I feel like all the time I've spent playing video games didn't waste a single moment.
That's a good way to look at it. And I killed a lot of Nazi zombies. So, you know.
Doing your part to save the world.
I found the goldenrod. I don't want to hear anything. I did.
This is true.
You know what's so funny? They called them Easter eggs in those.
Mm-hmm.
An Easter egg is something like, oh, that's cool. Like I found that. An Easter egg is not something I need a tutorial that takes 21 steps to do. That's my spiel on.
That's the new Call of Duty
thing.
For you. And by the way, Elliot, yes, we're still live because we have a problem. But yeah, Jake, let's read the room. Let's get to our voicemails, because I know Ninja Hot Dog has left us a Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone scroll.
Yeah, for whatever reason. 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Good Lord. All right, let's do Kyle Malay first. He has got a bone to pick with this team. Short and sweet, or short and not so sweet.
Hey guys, Kyle Malay here. What a disgusting display by the Yankees this weekend. We can't beat freaking good teams. Like, what the fuck is going on with this team? I guess we just gotta go beat the shitty-ass teams and barely make it into the playoffs. But what a fucking disgrace, man. Like, we had so many chances to score, it's not even funny this weekend. All right, well, hopefully we can get back on the winning ways. Let's get the fuck out of Milwaukee. All right, have a good night. Go Yankees.
That was Mother's Day, by the way, guys. He's like, what the hell?
Are you kidding me? You would have thought they just got eliminated. You would have thought that they were the Philadelphia 76ers after Joel Embiid said, I feel like I accomplished a lot staying healthy.
Just the fact that I'm here in one piece in front of you, that's enough for me.
That hurt my heart. I love Joel Embiid. I'd never want to hear anybody on my team
by the way,
say that.
Last thing I'll say on Embiid, fun fact, now that this year's over, he activates a 3-year, $189 million contract.
Wow. I love Joel because, he's a Kansas Jayhawk. but it's like I never wanted to hear anybody on my team after we just got swept say that. By the way, they got swept by the Knicks, so congratulations to you Knicks fans out there.
Yeah.
I'm definitely rooting. I'm
Congrats.
all aboard the Knicks train
Same.
because the Lakers
I
have
am.
no chance against OKC.
No, of course they never did.
They
But
did
at this
if
point,
Luka
the
was healthy.
Sixers,
They might have had a shot, but
I don't even
not
know
without
about that,
Luka.
but I feel like honestly, the Sixers may as well just scrape their butt cheeks with money at this point because they're just wasting dollars.
Don't they have
to
Paul
spend
George?
100?
That's so
Yes,
stupid. He doesn't
He had
fit that
7
team at
points.
all.
Well, he doesn't fit any team. He's making $60 million a year. He's making twice as much money, practically twice as much money as Aaron Judge makes this year.
He's
not
Josh
even
Smith
good
with
at what he
better
does.
PR. Can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
I think
mean,
Josh
honestly,
Smith was
not wrong.
given a bad rep personally, but
And
that's just
Apex,
me.
yeah. Knicks sweep. I'm rooting for the Knicks at this point. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. I'm not going to sit here and lie and pander to the room and act like I'm a Knicks fan. I am not. But I am rooting for the Knicks
I'm
because
definitely
I just
rooting for the
don't
Knicks.
want to see Oklahoma City win, and not because they've won a lot, because of how they play. I like the way Brunson plays. I like the way the Knicks play, and I'm glad they got away from playing all their starters 46 minutes a game. I thought that was stupid.
Yeah.
They've gotten back to reality. I think it's going to work out. So I'm looking forward to it. Jake,
I would
who
like
do we
to
got
see
bad in
them
second for us, by the
make
way?
everybody eat their words on the whole Brunson pick. I thought Brunson was a good pickup. They were like, he's getting paid so much. Newsflash, everybody is. Remember John Lure? You probably don't. Just some bench guy made $20 million a year. Everybody gets paid a ton in the NBA. That's why the NBA has become somewhat
Especially
of a
now.
joke. But anyway, still hope the Knicks do it all. So yeah, we got Ninja Hot Dog, and that is it. So not as many voicemails tonight. Normally I have 5, but Ninja Hot Dog is taking care of all of that with this giant. I mean, this is a C.S. Lewis,
Yeah,
book
this
of.
is diabolical.
we're
So everybody
totally
get
messing
comfortable.
around.
If you're in bed, sprawl out because Ninja Hot Dog has got many things to say. in no
C.S.
particular
Lewis would
order.
be proud. Just a little bit more fiction he would be looking for, but.
What's up, guys? Today is May 10th, 2025. Nope, 2026.
He's Iron
Sorry, I
Legend.
got confused by the year because of how the Yankees have been playing. Anyways, yes, the Yankees found a way to get swept again. This is the second time they've been swept by a team above 500, and this is their third time playing a team above 500. The other time they went 1-2 against the A's. So I know I said in my last Super Chat that the Yankees haven't been properly tested yet, and that is true. However, this is sort of like still if they do the homework and they get every question wrong. How do you expect to do good on the test if you can't get any question right on the homework? So it's really disappointing to see what was happening. I was originally going to come on here and yell, but I just am not in the mood right now. This team really can't do anything. It's a repeat of last year. Exactly. I thought this
It's in
team had
study
changed.
mode.
That's why I made that really positive voicemail last time, but same errors, same thing again. I'm really concerned about the bullpen budget because we don't have a solid 5 and we're going to use up the bullpen every day. We have Rodon or ERC or whoever messing up, so that is really disappointing. Bednar got his 3rd loss. Very annoying. I'm tired of this. We're not going to do. Maybe we will beat a couple teams. We'll beat down on a couple teams in the postseason, like in 2024. But we just can't expect to win a World Series like this. There needs to be change. And I know that this team has the potential to change and do well, but they don't want to. They don't want to put in the effort to change. They don't want to improve things. They don't want to fix their issues. If they did, then their issues would have been fixed a long time ago, because it's the same issues that have been plaguing our team for years, and they haven't been fixed yet. Same errors, same bullcrap. Boone taking out pitchers when they're doing well and keeping them in and letting them stuck when they're doing badly. It's awful. Fire Baboon, fire Cashman. Hal needs to sell the team. That's literally the only way at this point.
All right. Well, we appreciate the voicemail, Ninja. I would definitely push back on the doomsday stuff here.
What's our record?
26-15.
Yeah. our record isn't everything, but I don't think there's any 26-15 team in any sport that should have some grand negative takeaway. And it's okay to be like, hey, that series was horrible. It was close games, but the fashion that we lost was unacceptable. And that has to improve. If it doesn't, then you're essentially wasting our time. But all in all, we can't just overwrite something of 3 days of baseball when we absolutely wouldn't, as the Dodgers would say. The Dodgers aren't freaking out about what Atlanta just did to them back-to-back days. They're just not. They're like, hey, happy Mother's Day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. And they're going to win 2 of 3, and then everyone will forget about the 2 games they played against Atlanta. Why? Because the Dodgers just figure that it's a long season. It's going to be a grind, and we need to be ready by the end of the year. The Yankees should have the same expectations. So, yeah, the series sucked. It was not a fun series to watch. Not at all. The only bright spot, I would say, was getting a chance to see Spencer Jones in live action in center field. And I thought defensively it looked really good. I know you said you liked some of what you saw offensively. I thought it was, I wouldn't even say it was up and down. I'm not disappointed, but I do want to see a middle ground between the type of swings he's taking and the swings that I know can still be very powerful. So Spencer Jones has a lot of natural ability. There needs to be a happy middle ground with the type of swings he's taking. It can't be home run derby square swings all day. So I think he will make that adjustment. So obviously not counting him out, but yeah, when he faces pitching that's much more realistic for a young player who's just gotten here to hit, I think those swings will start looking a lot better. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, some people are saying, well, they rest guys till October. That is perfectly fine. But the Yankees, we can't have standards for ourselves that nobody else lives by.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees have won 16 of their last 22. So they're 16-6, their last 22 games. 3 of those 6 losses just came in the last 3 days. Like, I'm not freaking out.
Nope, not yet.
You know, and look, I mean, I'm not happy. I'm not happy that they just got swept, but I also think the whole swept thing is just such an overblown thing. You know, I honestly don't care. I mean, think about this. What's a sweep? When you win 3, 4, 5, whatever series you're playing, you win all of the games, right? So if they lost to the Brewers 3 out of 4, that's not called a sweep, is it?
No, you're not swept. But I mean, I get you left with nothing. And that's the way that the series feels.
That's just one of those things that I think is just way overblown. Like, you're swept in the playoffs. It's like, were you ever even supposed to win the series? Like, if it's like, you know, 1 seed versus the 8 seed, and the 8 seed gets swept, it's like, oh, they got swept. It's like, well, I mean, they're supposed to win maybe 1 game if they got lucky. You know what I mean? Like, I never really put too much stock into getting swept. But
in short series, I agree with you. That's part of the reason why we don't really love the 5-game sets in the first place. 3 games is not that hard to accomplish. Just not.
And by the way, 4-3, 4-3, 6-0. 6-0 came off the back of Mizorowski, who basically shut the door and said early on to his entire team, I got this. And they rallied. The door in our face. But it wasn't like, you know, 4-3, 4-3. You had the extra innings. You had the bottom of the 9th loss. I mean, there are so many things. Like, dude, their loss to, like, the Rangers 6-1, like, that was pretty much the same. Like, they just got beat, right? Their loss to the Astros 7-4 was frustrating. Their loss to the Rangers 3-0 was frustrating. If we saw something like the Angels series, where they lost 2 of these 3 games, 11-4, 7-1, right? I think I'd be a little bit more worried. Losing by, you know, 1 run back-to-back games, I thought it was a response from getting destroyed by Mizorowski. I had no issue.
Yeah, the margin, this series was well played. We made so many mistakes, and to lose by as little as we lost by today, I thought it was honestly a surprise. The Yankees did not play well in this series. They did not play well. They didn't hit at all. The starting pitching outside of Cam Schlittler was not good. And you come away, you were iffy on the start of Rodon. I was way out on it. I said Rodon will be fine probably later. This won't be the time. You're running into a really good team. They're playing good ball. He's wild. He's not throwing strikes in the minor leagues. He's getting hit in the minor leagues. And then he's going to get up here. I'm not freaking out, but I don't think he's ready.
He's
gets
not
here,
ready.
And of course, he's not ready.
No.
And the game should have been a loss, in my opinion. This was the most losable game ever. I felt like the game that should have been won was game 2, I believe it was.
Oh, yeah.
And it just didn't work out for the Yankees. But yeah, I'm going to have all of these takeaways, by the way, because I do see Yankee Fangirl for Life who's still in here that's saying, being swept isn't overblown when we're doing the sweeping. Of course, we did sweep Baltimore and we felt really good about ourselves. That's true. And I want to be fair here. The Yankees as a unit, to be a great team, you have to figure out ways to stop the bleeding. And when you play, say, a 3-game set against really good baseball teams, sometimes the best sign is being able to throw a punch before the series ends. You lose the first 2 games, it seems like all hope's lost. The really good teams find a way to take a game before they go. And this series, it just didn't happen for us. We need to get back on track here. I know we've won a lot of games over the last 22, I believe it was, Jake. The Yankees have a ton of runway here, and I do see a super chat from Bulls New York Yankee fan. Thank you for the 2. Says Jones needs to learn a 2-strike approach. Get in line. There's about 6 different players on our team.
You beat me too.
Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, they're not them, right? Ben Rice, they're getting better. You're watching that on the fly. Some guys had swing and miss in their game, and you can watch it disappear before your very eyes. Spencer Jones, I hope, takes a page out of Aaron Judge's book that just because you're a swing and miss guy in the minor leagues, you don't have to marry that style. And so Spencer Jones, you can bring your power hitting approach and also have a sensible approach. So yeah, Bulls, New York Yankees fan, I am with you on that one.
The Yankees should sweep Baltimore. They got Young on the mound, Brandon Young, younger guy, not pitching very well. Warren versus Undecided. I haven't watched Undecided this year, but I'll take Warren over him. And then we got Fried taking on Kyle Bradish, who Kyle Bradish, I feel like, is just like there. Like every time the Yankees play him, they win 6-2, like it without fail. Like he gives up 5 runs and the Yankees just take over. This is going to be, I think the Yankees are going to have a lot of fun at Camden. And then they're going to play the Mets. And I think Schlittler is going to dominate that lineup. By the way, they're entirely missing McLean. They do get Peralta. I think Peralta, who's pitched well against the Yankees in the past, could have some success. He's going up against Weathers, though. The game that I think the Mets will potentially win is if Rodon's not ready to go, although he does have a pretty good track record against the Mets. Brazoban is on the mound for that one, and he's pitched pretty well. Huascar Brazoban. So,
hell of a name there.
Well, I mean, he's an old guy. He's 36 years old.
Sounds like an alias that they give you when you're like some type of undercover agent. Like Brazoban Madera.
Brazoban. But yeah, I mean, Clay Holmes finally gets to pitch against the Yankees. He's pitching well this year. What is so funny to me is that these Mets starters all have pretty good numbers, and yet this team can't win. Why is that? Because after these guys come out, the bullpen stinks it up and they don't hit. So
their lineup's horrible.
I think the Yankees are going to at least win 2 out of 3 against New York. I think they're going to sweep Baltimore. I think you're looking at 5 of the next 6, and then we get ready to play Toronto in a 4-game set, then Tampa, and that's where things kind of take off. So
I'm more excited for the Tampa series than I am Toronto, because just the nature of
that's fair.
Honestly, just the status of where both teams are. Toronto's not playing great baseball. They're not healthy. And it feels like when we beat Toronto, there's going to be a narrative behind why we did what we did, as opposed to full strength. Whereas opposed to Tampa,
we got May 20th. We got Schlittler versus Savage. I'm very much looking forward to that game.
Yeah, as more of like a standalone event. We're excited for that. But if we go into the Tampa series, that's what people are worried about. Tampa's playing the best baseball in the division right now. They're in first place. But if we go out there and beat Tampa, does it make people feel a little bit better? It's a team clearly over 500, way over 500, by the way. If we went out and took care of business, win 2 of 3, what's the set against Tampa? Is that at home? Is it a 3-game set?
That's a 3-game set at home. The 4 you're getting with Toronto is also at home. So it's a 7-game homestand after a 9-game road trip. So
if we win 5 of 7 in the Toronto and Tampa series overall, are you guys happy in the comment section? Because I'm not trying to make it seem like you're being ungrateful. I want to create a standard that we can try and we want to make sure we create a standard in a bar that they have to reach. And if they reach it, would we be happy? Instead of just saying, oh, they should have done it. Because those teams, we would consider good teams. And Jake, you've done I feel like a pretty nice job of helping remind people like, hey, this is the list of teams that are considered good right now. Tampa's one of those teams. So
Yes.
I'm circling them right now. I feel like I'm ready for the challenge. Obviously, we're not on the field, so it doesn't really matter how ready I am. But I'm excited to watch it as a fan.
Yeah, you know what I just realized?
What'd you realize?
Very under the radar. We didn't say it, but we kind of are processing it subconsciously. The
What's that?
Yankees, whether people realize it or not, they didn't come out and announce it, are running a 6-man rotation. It's currently happening.
That's true because you were asking where's Weathers, and I said he's starting tomorrow. And you're like, oh, he is?
Yep.
Yeah, 6-man rotation.
So the new rotation is Weathers, Warren, Fried, Schlittler, Rodon. There you go. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I guess it's 5. Where did the 6th guy go? No, I guess it is 5. What the hell? Well, I don't know what I'm thinking.
Hell of a
I need
point
to
there,
go to
Jake.
bed.
It's late.
I need to go to bed.
It's the middle of the night. It's time to go to bed.
Anyway.
But anyways, guys.
Anyway.
Anywho. Love the point you were
Anywho,
making if it was true.
Put, let's see.
We'll
we
let
did
Paul
balsamic.
Blackburn go.
Yeah, Blackburn. Yeah, the Blackburn identity.
So bad.
Was it Jason Bourne? Yeah, put Jason Blackburn. No. No, there was
How
one that
about
I
this?
wanted to do, and
How about this,
I'm
guys?
blanking now.
Drop in the comment section 2 teams you think the Yankees have to prove they can beat. Is it Toronto? Is it Tampa? Tampa's leading the division right now. We're not really sure if they're real contenders or not. Some people believe they're here to stay, and some think they're just a flash in the pan. They'll be gone tomorrow. Drop in the comments the teams you think the Yankees have to prove they can beat so that we all think they're not frauds. So drop that in the comments. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe.
And
what
put
is it?
risky.
Why?
Because we said risky earlier, and I immediately thought of the Everybody Hates Chris risky guy that just sells everything off the black market.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
I wish you did so badly. It was what's his name? Terry Crews.
I know
didn't play risky.
I know the show you're talking about. I just never watched it. So people are saying the Yankees have to beat Tampa. They've got to beat the Dodgers and Tampa. But how many teams out there on a list have beat the Dodgers and Tampa? I feel like the list is probably 1 or 2 names long. So we'll see what that looks like. You also see from John, the Cubs, the Brewers, the Dodgers. Yeah. So let's keep that in mind as we continue going on because they're not that far away.
Or
So
put
that's the good news about our
regurgitated
schedule.
narrative.
Or write all that in the comment section, guys. And also subscribe to Yankees Unloaded. Hit the bell icon to be notified. Hype the video below. We are also doing a Yankees Unloaded event September 8th against the Rockies at Yankee Stadium. All you got to do is buy a ticket. It's like $6 to get into the stadium, and it is free to book at Audi Club on Open Table. That becomes available around the All-Star break. We'll continue to remind you guys, but we want to meet each and every one of you and talk baseball. So just keep that in mind that that's going to be our event officially. We're looking forward to it. Subscribe, like the video, hype the video.